Well, our first season in the Football League so far has been a weird one, but what I can confirm is that if we don't win both of the matches on today's episode, with just its mid-table obscurity for the last 10 games or so. So, 2 wins! Hello and welcome to part 62 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're at home against Oxford and then away against Salford, both in League 2. Since you were last with me, it's been the usual erratic form. I'm not sure which one of them it is. One of these two, presumably, is the dice that is rolled at the start of each match to decide whether we'll win it, lose it or draw it. The draw doesn't come up very often. And when it does, it's a 4-4. And this was a messy 4-4 as well, because we thought we'd scored a 91st minute winner after an 87th minute equaliser, and then they equalised in the 96th minute. It was the dirtiest game of Football Manager you've ever seen. But it's just been a weird, random season. I guess that's fine for our first season in the league. We're in 11th at the moment. We're 9 points behind Blackpool with 10 games to go. And if we do anything other than win like our next 5 or 6 games, we can forget all about the playoffs. But 2 wins today and the right results above us, with 8 games to go, could leave us within touching distance of something exciting. And this is going to be the team that we put out there to try and achieve that excitement. We've got Nadat in goal. You're welcome. A back four of Anderson, Laskowski, Sawyer and Worrell Briscoe. Squire Bill, Taylor and Skelton are in midfield with Ball in behind McDonald. And a rejuvenated and returned Sedwin Scott, who, after his long injury layoff, has come back in. He's playing well, he's scoring goals and looks like a Football League player. I mean, of all the ones who made the step up with us from non-league, Sedwin Scott looks like he was actually probably worthy of all the hype and all the moaning and whining that he's had wanting to move to a bigger club over the last few years. He probably shouldn't have been staying in non-league as long as he has. And based on the goals he's scoring, could probably make a step up another division. So probably has an argument for still wanting to leave us. But he's still here for now and hopefully will score for us again today. That would be splendid. One of the side effects of us bringing in Skelton in midfield on loan earlier in the season is that we are now playing Laskowski pretty much all the time because Redhead is one lone player too many. I've basically got to choose between Nadat, Redhead and Skelton because Ball has to play because Ball is good. And there's someone else who's on loan as well and I can't remember who it would be. Or are you only allowed set? Either way, we basically can't play Redhead because of the loan rules. Either that or I'd have to drop Nadat, and that would never do. He's been saving penalties, he's been playing really well. When you lot aren't here, Nadat plays like a real top goalkeeper. As soon as the cameras are on, he plays like an absolute joke. So it's going to be interesting. I haven't told him we're filming today, so I'm hoping that he'll just play well. Sedwin Scott is in behind though, and that was my and scores voice. You ruined that for me, Sedwin. I thought that was in the back of the net. Skelton crosses to McDonald, who heads it straight towards their keeper. Interestingly, you might have noticed on the tactics screen, Scott playing as an advanced forward for the first time in many a long year because McDonald is an out-and-out target man. It's all he's really capable of doing. I've tried him the other way round, and their position suitability drops. His drops massively. Scott can do either role, but I've tried playing him that way, and they just don't look good playing that way round. Whereas McDonald, as a target man, has been scoring goals all season. And Sedwin Scott, he can basically play any kind of attacking role that I ask him to. He's a bit of a superstar. Was that a save from Nadat? It wasn't. I thought that was a beautiful save from Nadat, but actually they just missed. But if they hadn't have missed, if it had been on target, he was right there, ready to make a world-class save. So I still think he's good, and I think we'll end up signing him permanently. And he'll be our hero forevermore. He could be this saves Kevin Thompson. Imagine that. He was a goalkeeper I signed on loan in League 2 and you all thought was rubbish. And look how brilliant he turned out to be. He ended up playing in the Premier League. He ended up as an international with international trophy to his name and 50 caps for his country. So, Nadat could end up being that good. Skelton with the free kick and forces a save out their keeper and Squire Bill hits the post. It's inexplicably still in play, but he couldn't find Sedwin Scott, or it went towards Scott and he couldn't get a clean connection on it. We should be ahead in this game. I'm starting to think the dream of back-to-back promotions is drifting away from us. McDonald's had a terrible game, so we'll get Fisher on, swap those two over, and James Ball can also come off. We'll get Hurd on in behind the front two. Should we bring... I'm not going to take Scott off straight away. I'll give him 10 minutes as a target man, but Jerry Hendon is sat there. He scored an absolute screamer in that last game against Wickham. But, I mean, we've got 4 good strikers. We probably should be focusing more on Scott and Hendon, as they're the ones that we've got permanently. But with McDonald and Fisher scoring as often as they have been this year, it's pretty hard to pretend they don't exist. Of course, McDonald and Fisher are the other 2 loans. There we go. I knew there was a reason we couldn't play Redhead, and obviously we can't drop either of the strikers either, so that's why Redhead's not in the team. And now we're losing a game that, I mean, we've had 23 shots. To be fair, they've had 3 clear-cut chances against our 2, so they've not had much of the ball, but when they've had it, they've done good stuff with it. We're just attack, dominating the game, but with no real end product. And now we find ourselves in the 80th minute. Now that did make a save there, I'd like to point out. But losing the game, we're probably going to lose the match overall. And I think this is probably it for any aspiration we had of pushing into that playoff spot. Because the gap's just going to be too big for us now. Hendon comes on for Scott. We need 2 goals. We've got to win this game. The rest of the season just becomes... I mean, that will then be the opportunity to drop some of the lone players, try out our own youngsters and just experiment with a few things for the last 8 games of the season. Unless Hurd scores here, and he does. Right, we've got 8 minutes, 6 minutes even, to grab a winner and keep the season alive for 1 more game. That puts us back up to 11th place. I mean, we're so far behind. It's already gone. I know it's already gone, but I've got a dream if we keep winning. That's a lovely finish from Hurd as well. And now we just need to find that winner from somewhere. Should we push on to attack? We don't really fiddle with mentality very often, but we'll go on attack him because we've got to grab a winner. It doesn't matter if we draw or lose. We've got to try and win, and they've scored again. Right from the kickoff, they've scored again. Oh, bottom half of the table now. Oh, it's getting miserable. We can't end in the bottom half of the table. I mean, it would still be good. It would still be a good season. And... oh, this is poor. Laskowski just not really alive to what's going on around him. And I think that is season over for us. 11 points away from the playoffs with 9 games left. We are not ever catching up with that. So we'll go away to Salford and start playing some of our own players and see if they're any good, I guess. It's very sad. Even worse news. Sir Tom Elliott has some blisters. It's an injury through wear and tear, presumably from his chainmail being too tight when he's wandering around being a Knight of the Realm, because it's not as if he's played any football this season. But wear and tear injuries, eh, Sir Tom? Are we ready to send you on a coaching course yet? No? Can we... People have said you can do it this way. I don't think you can. He turns 30 next month. In like a couple of weeks, he turns 30. I am getting fearful that he's not going to become a staff member. Here we go then, major changes for the Salford game. I'm just rotating a few players into the side. I'm not dropping all the loanees because Skelton and Nada have both agreed to stay on loan until the end of next season. Ball, McDonald, Fisher, Redhead, they're all out of contract with their parent clubs in the summer. So I'm hopeful to bring in some, if not all of them permanently in the summer. But we are going to start to try a few different combinations of players, get an idea of who we're going to keep around, who we're going to move on, try some players, some of these youngsters that we brought in the summer. So Ted Can's going to get his opportunity for a little while. Lionel Stone, we're going to see if he's got what it takes to play in the league. He probably hasn't, but it'll be his final little run of games. Craig Hudson's going to come in at left back, who's an 18-year-old Italian left back. Do you get a lot of Italians called Craig? So he's trained in England, club trained at Arsenal, but he was born in Italy. Okay, so he's a 21-year-old Italian left-back who's going to come in for Anderson to give him a little bit of a break. Joe Anderson's been pretty much ever-present during the last 5 years, 6 years. It won't do him any harm at all to have a break for a couple of games to see if Italian Craig is going to be any good. Fernando Sampson, finally available for selection again. He's been off playing for the Argentina under-21s in some fancy tournament. the Campeonato Sudamerica Sud-17, which he won. So he's been away winning trophies with Argentina for most of the last 2 months, but we're now going to give him a run of games in midfield alongside Charlie Gilmore, who we signed on a free a little while ago and never really played, but he was part of the Tranmere team that was so good last year, so we'll see if he's worth extending beyond this season. Skelton stays in, and then we'll have a proper look at Jerry Hendon as well, who we've talked about a little bit in the last match. But we'll see what he's got if he gets a little run of starts, because he's only started 2 games for us previously. So let's give him a few, see if he's any good. And if none of these end up any good, we'll try different ones, because we've got so many players knocking around in this squad now. We can just throw players in on a whim now for these last 8 games or so, unless we end up losing so many that we look like we might get relegated. But we've got 54 points already. I don't think there's any fear of us getting relegated. In fact, it might even be a mathematical impossibility. So to me, it makes no difference whether we finish 8th or 18th. I don't care. I'd rather spend the time looking at the players that I've got, trying to work out who's going to form a part of the squad for next year, who's got a bit of potential maybe, who will benefit from getting 8 games to end the season. I mean, Fernando Sampson as an example, it might do him the world of good having a little run of games in League Two, because he wasn't getting in the team consistently before he went off to spend 2 months gallivanting around the world playing international football. But now he's back. Perhaps playing this little run of games with that newfound confidence will turn him into an absolute superstar for next season. And Jerry Hendon, 10 minutes on the clock, grabs a goal for us. So another one who looks like he might be positioning himself to grab hold of the opportunity. Hudson and Gilmore both involved in the build-up, and Sampson. I mean, James Ball is the only one who is normally in the team who was involved in that goal in any way. Everyone else was fresh into the team, and it was pretty impressive football. 10 points outside the playoffs with 8 games to go now. Imagine if after I've started rotating the team, that's when we force our way back up the league. Perhaps this is what this squad needed 8 games ago when we started playing poorly. Perhaps we just needed to freshen things up a little bit. We've got a really big squad. They're all youngsters. We've got a large under-18 and under-23 squad because of all the youngsters we bring in every summer. But I guess it doesn't hurt to use some of them. McDonald, can he beat that guy for pace? He can, but it's a pretty weak shot at the end of it. And we are mugging Salford at the moment. Looking at the clear-cut chance criteria, they are doing better than we are. Lionel Stone wins a header in the Football League. There you go. What will they think of next? Bristow I mean, look at this. We're knocking the ball around in little triangles in midfield. It's Ball again, trying to play it over the top from McDonald. This time he does get a proper shot away, but it's wide. He's had 2 good chances now. Both of them pretty much created by himself, just through hard work and closing down and tackling and running. But he could have had a couple of goals and probably should have scored at least one of them. He's one of the highest scorers in League Two. Would love to get him permanently in the summer. But I dare say he'll cost too much money, or Bristol City should just offer him a new contract. They'd be mad not to, based on how well he's been playing for us this year. In real life, a guy who's got 25 goals in League Two, aged 20 or whatever he is, he goes for £1 million. Ball is in and should have scored. We've missed some chances in this first half. I don't think they're mugging us anymore. I think we should be pretty disappointed that we've only got that 1 goal, because we're playing well, we're creating some chances. We're actually looking quite dangerous again with a complete rotation of the team. A couple of players reacted positively. Well, good work, couple of players. So we've now had 2 clear-cuts. I mean, 2 clear-cut chances each, but we've had 4 half chances to their 2. Our passing's a little bit off today. They've got 100% tackles won. How can that even be a thing? They're down to 94 now. But I don't get that stat. They've got a penalty. Yeah. Lionel Stone gave it away, did he? That's him done in the league. Ted Can doesn't make the save. Nadat would have saved it. I did try and recall Payne and New Omar from their loans, the 2 who, of all the youngsters that we sent out on loan, the 2 who really should be getting an opportunity in the first team. But despite having recall from loan as an option, I can't recall them from their loans. I'm guessing I can only do it inside the transfer windows, which really makes it pretty pointless having the option on there to recall them from their loans if I can only do it in the transfer window. But Hendon is in behind again, and this time he does miss. Substitutions are pending. I'm just trying to work out what we've actually got on the bench. So Cedrin Scott, Joe Anderson. There's not really... It depends. Are we trying to win the game or look at players? We don't need to look at those two. We know they're good enough. Ball in behind again and hits the crossbar. How many more chances like that are we going to get? It's a bit frustrating how poor our finishing has been over these last couple of games. Right. Tactics. Substitution o'clock. Fernando Sampson. The only guy who can come on for him is Patrick Smith. What on earth is a Patrick Smith? 19-year-old, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential. I mean, he isn't any good. I don't even know why he's in the squad, but we'll give him an opportunity. Swap those two over. Henry Ward, by the way, we didn't sign him in the summer, and he's a winger, but he went on trial with Arsenal. And I thought, well, if he's on trial with Arsenal, we'll offer him a quick contract. So while he's on trial at Arsenal, he signed a contract with us. Purely because he was at Arsenal, I thought someone might pay money for him and he was cheap. But we've been training him to play as a striker. So I think perhaps we bring him on as a striker and just see if he's any good at it. Yeah, I mean, he's not any good at it yet, is he? But other than that, what's Durban? Are you a centre-back? You are. Let's bring you on, Joe. Joe Durban can come on for Lionel Stone. And we'll see how we get on with 3 more new faces on the pitch. Oh, odd. We start losing almost immediately. Have the changes even gone through yet? Back down into the bottom half of the table again. Oh, it's dirty. It's sickening. I don't want to watch your dirty replays. I want to see if Ward's any good. I mean, if he's proper good, it might be a reason to switch the tactic up a little bit and try and play with wingers for a little bit if we've got one who's really, really, really good. I guess playing him as an advanced forward isn't the best way to find out if he's going to be a winger worth changing the system for. But I ain't changing the system unless I know he's worth it. So he's going to get himself into the same situation as Mitchell Glover did for all those years, where he's got to prove to me, rather than he needs to prove to me it's worth playing him as a winger. And he's got to do that playing in other positions first. So I'm just going to... If he sticks around for a long time, I'm going to ruin him the way I did Glover. Because that's what I do to wingers who get under my feet. We've lost this game as well, haven't we? That's... We're not very good. I think next season might be a bit of a jolt to the system. Because we had a good start building on momentum this year. And we have struggled massively since Christmas. Oh dear. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.